is, the more colors, the more shapes, the more forms, I think the more apt it is to reach people. One last thing, I was in India once, and this is not just Buddhist, it's kind of an Indian tradition too. If you go to an Indian temple, it's very ornately carved with all sorts of figurines. Sometimes they're very erotic figurines, explicit, right? But if you go inside to the inner sanctum, there's absolutely nothing. It's just pure emptiness. Okay? But the way it was explained to me is having all those figures outside, it draws the eye in. Whether the person is coming out of curiosity, right, or interest or devotion, it draws all kinds of people. But when they get in, it's empty, it's bare. Okay? So that's kind of how I see at least one of the functions of the artistic image.
Thank you so much.
I don't know who might want to comment on this, but I've been taking the Saturday meditation classes here, and as someone who knew and still knows very little about Buddhism, but I'm increasingly fascinated and drawn to it. I think I'm comparing in my mind, and I wonder if this is correct. There are so many different types of Buddhism. Is this comparable to the denominations of Christianity in that way? And also, how might one find their type? Thank you.
I'll make a quick answer, and then I'll leave it to you. You probably know better. Again, I think all these different types of Buddhism, okay, are again skillful means. I mean, Buddhism started in India, then went through Central Asia, it went to Tibet, it went to China, it went to Japan, and in each of these cultures it made adaptations and accommodations, okay, precisely because of this notion of skillful means, that there's not just one path up to the mountain, right? The ultimate goal is the same, the liberation, but there are different pathways that can help you to reach that goal, right? As far as to what thing or what type of Buddhism one is attracted to, it's only in the United States actually that people have had a choice, right? Because in the West, Buddhism came from Tibet, came from the Theravadan countries of Thailand, right, and Sri Lanka, came from Korea, but most people brought up in those cultures, they really didn't have that much choice, okay? That was their. But here in this country, there's a question of choice, especially for people who are coming from different religious traditions, non-Buddhist traditions. And I think it's more a question of affinity. Again, it's like those windows, right? If you like ritual, if you like the color, the chanting, the mudras, the mantra of Tibetan Buddhism, some people very much are drawn to that. They like things, they like to use all the senses in the body and the singing, right? Some people like the more austere form of Zen Buddhism. Everything's sort of pared down, minimalist, right? Some people like the more devotional aspect of Pure Land Buddhism. Some, and this is the tradition that you represent, I think, is called humanistic Buddhism, which has emerged in Taiwan and is coming to this country too, where the Pure Land is not something elsewhere, but in this world. And so our duty, our job as bodhisattvas is to make this world pure, whether it's by picking up the garbage along the side of the road or engaging in recycling, more of an engaged sort of purification both of the self and of the world. So I think it's what you have to follow your instincts. But there's something in Buddhism called the three characteristics. And they are dukkha, which means suffering or stress or unease or unsatisfactoriness, which sounds kind of gloomy, but it's basically, that's the way things are. They're unsatisfactory. It's like that Mick Jagger song, I can't get no satisfaction. I mean, even happiness is short-lived, right? The second one is anicca or anicca, which is change, impermanence. There's nothing that doesn't change, okay? And then the third is anatta or no self, which is a very tricky concept, but the notion is there's no permanent, fixed, independent, unchanging self. There is a self, of course. You're sitting there, and if I pinched you, you would go like this. I mean, it's very real, but it's not permanent, it's not unchanging, and it's not independent. It's because you had parents, because there's sun, because there's cell, all these things, causes and conditions have come to create temporarily a vehicle in which to move through this life. Okay, so those three characteristics, I think of them as sort of watermarks. So whatever form of Buddhism you look at, if you look closely, if the teachings all in the end sort of point toward those three things, right? Somehow saying it in different languages, in different words, in different images, then it's still the Buddhist teaching. It's still the Buddha Dharma. Dr. Kunsak, I don't know if you agree with that.
I completely agree with her comment. I think that's excellent capture of the whole thing: impermanence, imperfection, and selfless nature. The three universal characteristics of existence. That Buddhism emphasized that that's the whole practice. You see the selfless avoidance, emptiness nature of things to dependent arising. And that kind of signifies what is Buddhism all about. And one of the prominent scholars is a monk in Thai, very high eminent monk from Kunapan. He wrote like 30 years ago, Buddhism defined, how can you identify this is true Buddhism or not? They will teach the same core of Buddhism. That's why we have Buddhist Council for 12 years, because we have a common core. Even though we look different, we meet monthly. Can you imagine that? For 12 years. And because we define by Four Noble Truths, suffering, cause of suffering, end of suffering on nirvana, and the middle path in suffering. And we teach dependent arising, which is an exemplified form of the Four Noble Truths. And we have the three core of teaching: avoid doing bad deed, do good deed, and purify your mind. And the thing you recite as four virtues: dana, samanatatta, satchakriya, and so on. Those are being taught in our lineage too, the 84,000 Dharma heading. That's where I came from, the Thai Pitaka, the Buddhist Kana, 84,000 way to do good things, the skillful means. That's how we identify Buddhism. So we all teach the third one, the meditation. That's why it may be various techniques to do it, but to get to the same goal, to see the three universal marks of existence: impermanence, imperfection, and selfless nature. That's where suffering starts, when we make it self. That's the first noble truth. The five aggregates of clinging: body, feeling, perception, thought formation, and consciousness as ours. That's when suffering arises. If you see your true nature, no self, no suffering. Thank you.
I would like to add one sentence. I think for me, it's very important if you get in your mind, getting more calm, more peaceful gradually after you learning Buddhism and practicing it, you may get the correct way. However, if you, after learning Buddhism and practicing it, and your mind getting more anxiety and more unpeaceful, I think if you get the incorrect way, you must ask another teacher.
Just one last one, is you don't have to be a Buddhist to practice Buddhism. I mean, some of the best Buddhists I know are Catholic nuns. I know a Jewish rabbi. Okay, so I mean, that's another label, and I think the Buddha would be the first to agree.
Even deeper than that is the 10th Kama Sutra, which deal with external information. Like the Buddha said, Kalama is a village where all the great teachers would pass by during the Buddha's time. And they all asked, what's the best teaching? And they all claim theirs the best. So when it comes to the Buddha, he didn't say that. He said, don't believe in 10 things. External information, or don't believe in hearsay, mere report, tradition, or scripture. And then he went on to say, don't believe in your view. Like, don't believe this is logical, this is philosophical, and this is common sense, and this meets with my own idea. So another four. They come to the last two, deal with the person. He said, don't believe because it's a respectable person, Nobel laureate, professors, and so on. And the last one, he make himself salvageable by saying, don't believe because he's your teacher. So what left to believe? Right? So he said, if something that is praised by the wise and not harmful, beneficial to yourself and to others, maybe that's the right way. Something is condemned by the wise and harmful to yourself and others, that's the way that you should avoid. So the bottom line is your own judgment. So this is the most open religion in the world. That's why you don't have to be Buddhist to practice Buddhism.
I'm going to ask Lura Koch to come up and play for us a little bit so we can take a moment's break and stretch a little bit, and then we will have Rosan from the Zen Center to lead us in a short meditation. So I see lots of flutes there. My goodness. I've never seen so many flutes.
Good afternoon or evening. Thank you for joining our Mindfulness Day. Thank you for our speakers, and thank you for the Pulitzer Foundation to give us a very good place. You came and saw beautiful Buddha statues, Bodhisattvas, 1,000 Buddhas. These Buddhas started with Shakyamuni Buddha, who attained nirvana, unconditioned peace. Nirvana literally means windless state, no wind of karma. For the first time in life history, the Buddha found that we are all karma machines. Not only humans, but all animals, plants, all life systems are karma machines. Action result, then becomes habit machine. And if we go business as usual, Buddha found, this world will be destroyed. That's why Buddha traveled every day to contact people so that everyone become Buddha. There is a concrete way he tested. That is Buddhism, awakened way, and everyone can become awakened. He said, this is come and see way. Anyone can come and see, witness. So he said, better than the one who would live 100 years not seeing immortality is the one who would live one day seeing immortality. He was sure that anybody can witness immortality and see birth and death. What is the highest dharma? Now, you can see you came here one day and see immortality. How? Stop karma. Sit, stop all karmas, all physical, verbal, and mental habits.